Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. Let me just give permissions on chat so that the rest of you can respond. Yeah, you should be able to respond now. Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. Okay, great. Good afternoon, Ms. Poonam, Ms. Akanksha. All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Sanchita. Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Ayya Reddy, Nazneen. All right. Good to see the responses already. Good afternoon, Ms. Anusha, Ms. Bharati. Okay, so we'll be starting off shortly because I'm expecting a little more of the audience to join us. So you'll have to give us a little more time before we start off. So in the meantime, yeah, good afternoon, Amandeep, Ms. Nehalata. So in the meantime, I'd like to know, obviously know the topic for the session today. And we have our HR expert, the speaker, Ms. Navina Joy, also with us here. I'd like to know what is it that you're expecting from today's session, and see what is it that you are expecting. And obviously, we have something in store for you today, which will be addressed. And we also have a QA session towards the end of the session. But what is it that you're expecting from this topic under the topic today? So you can use the chat and put out your inputs. Good afternoon, Mr. Sharad. Yeah, Ms. Sanchita, I think 3:45 might be a little too late. We will be starting, but not to worry. I think you can catch up on, no problem. Yeah, once again, let me repeat what I had mentioned. What is it that you're expecting from today's session to be covered under an organizational workplace, the culture? And we also have some strategies which we will dive into to understand how to attract talent pool and also, try and maintain retention rates. So these are something that we will be talking about today. But aside this, what is it that you are also expecting from today's session is something that I'd like to see from your end. So please use the chat to put in your queries. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Vishaka. Very good afternoon, Mr. Srinivas, Mr. Mahesh. All right. So how many of you are repeat audience here? I'm sure some of you have already attended our webinars in previous times. Okay, Shrai already says he's new. So if you're a repeat audience, you can either give me a thumbs up or a yes or a no. Okay. All right. Very nice. Okay, so there's a bunch of them who are actually new to this webinar. Okay, great. I'm also assuming that 90% of, I'd rather say 95% of our audience here today are from the HR side itself, right? Okay. Good to see the responses on chat. I'd like to keep this going, audience, because we also have some engaging polls and we will also take up queries during the session. So let's keep at the same engagement throughout the session. Looking forward. All right. I think we will start off in about 2 minutes. company culture to attract, retain, and nurture the right talent. Yeah, I think you're on the same lines, Mr. Ayaredi. We will be talking about certain topics under the same parts. Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Asif. Okay. So, audience, as I mentioned, you can we do have an exclusive QA session towards the end. So feel free to drop in your queries, anything HR related or something that comes up during the session. We have a bunch of slides in our presentation which Ms. Navina will be covering. So if you have any queries based on those lines, or if you have anything HR, please feel free to put it on chat, or you can even use the QA option. I already see a few queries over there. So I will be taking up these, and our speaker will take up this towards the end of the session. Okay, so let's get started. Once again, very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you all for your time and patience. I am Siddharth Nandakumar. I handle product marketing at Websol, and I will also be your moderator for the day. We also have our HR expert, Ms. Navina Joy, who's our speaker for the day. I will take time and introduce her as the session goes forward. So as we move forward, I will take about 5 minutes, not a lot of your time, to quickly run through a few slides about the company that I represent, what we have on offer, followed by which I will introduce the speaker and hand it over to her. I hope all of you are able to see my screen, audience. Okay, thank you. All right, let's move forward. So a quick dive into the company timeline, what we are today and where we've come up from. So Websol, as the name we are known by today. We in fact have a completely rebranded outlook as of today. We have a reimagined identity. We were part of Wipro itself prior to 2000. So we were the peripherals division manufacturing of the company. When I mean peripherals, we mean printer peripherals, printer cartridges, toners. We were also very well known in the industry for our DMPs, that is dot matrix printers. So that is where our core business started off. And in 2000, the company actually became a separate entity. So we moved out of Wipro and we became a separate company in the name of Web, that is Wipro e-Peripherals. So from there on, I think over the last 23 years, we've evolved, and we were known by the name Web Solutions Limited. And recently, we've also added a lot of our digital transformation solutions lineup over the last 5 to 6 years. And just about a month or two ago, we underwent a complete rebranding. So we have a completely new identity today, and we are known by the name Websol. So more into that as we move forward in the slides to show you what we have. So as you can see, as I mentioned, we have close to 23 years of industry experience, extending to both the service and the solutions side of things. We have close to 563 enterprise customers, and we have almost 2 lakh retail customers. So we have our presence on the retail end as well. We're present in over 2,500 service locations in India, and we've deployed close to 1 lakh devices across the nation. We even won the Company of the Year award last year for our workflow automation solution. And you can see a few customers that we have at the bottom. Moving forward. All right, so I will not take too much time here since it's not necessary. What I'm going to explain here is our portfolio, what we have on offer. So we have our business suite for workplaces for most organizations, which is called FluidWorks. Now, underneath this is what we have under the name Fluid itself. We have Fluid Pro, Fluid Trail, Fluid Print, and Fluid Map. So what is this is something that I'll explain to you quickly. Now, what is Fluid Pro? Fluid Pro basically is our managed IT services portfolio. What we have here on offer is we will be able to, we'll enable you, we'll empower you to basically set up a NOC center, your data center, your database management, your server management. All that is completely taken care by us. The entire infrastructure, the IT hardware, and your supporting parameters that take care of that is something that we will be able to arrange and take care of for you. And we also have a 24/7 monitoring team that will take care of your uptime, downtime, all of that. So that is Fluid Pro. We have Fluid Trail, which is our workflow automation and document management solution. Now, under this, we have various use cases. One that I can surely explain today for you is our employee records management solution, which we have deployed in various organizations for the HR department specifically. So your candidate onboarding, offboarding, your appraisal management, your entire records management, all of that is taken care by this solution. Aside that, we have other use cases for other departments like procurement department, finance, legal, your contracts, all of that can be managed under the same solution, that is Fluid Trail. So we have a few core clients like Flipkart, PhonePe, based in Bangalore. We also have GRT Jewelers and KIMS Hyderabad, who are using the same solution for the employee records management, that is the HR solution. Followed by which we have Fluid Print. This is our managed print services. We offer printers and printer services on a rental basis to various organizations. So what we do here is we will be able to offer you printers. We will also be able to take care of your remote management of all the printers across the nation. And that is supported by this Fluid Map solution that you can see below here, which is a remote monitoring solution where you can basically manage about 500,000 printers that are spread out in various, that are spread out across the nation. And we'll be able to take care of that completely remotely. Yeah. So let's move forward. And aside that, I will not take time on the products, and we have certain solutions that will tend for the retail section as well. Okay. So that's it on the company introduction. And now, obviously, we're not going to show you a demo or anything as such. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to launch a quick poll for all of you to just understand if you would be interested in a free demo as such of our solution. I hope you're able to see the poll on the screen. Let me leave this on for the next 1 minute, and we will get to the next slide. So please note that based on the ones who are interested, we'll be able to offer you a free demo of our solution. Mr. Srinivas, apologies. I think this is a standard mandate that we follow prior to the introduction. The next few slides will have our speaker introduced, followed by which it will be completely on her end. Thank you. All right. So as I mentioned in the demo, we'll be able to basically show you our HR automation solution, and we will understand your pain points based on which we'll be able to showcase the solution to you. Okay, I'll end the poll. Thank you so much for your inputs. Okay, so let's move forward. Without any further ado, let me introduce the speaker for the day, Ms. Navina Joy. A quick introduction about her. Ms. Navina Joy brings in over 14 plus years of experience, extending to strategic HR, organizational culture building, policy making, and planning as her areas of expertise. Having held roles as HR manager in the past in various industry verticals, and at present, she heads the AGM HR role at Superon Stanvac Prime Group. Her experience adds immense value to those aspiring to make a difference in the HR field. This is, in fact, our second webinar with her after the first successful webinar. So I take great pleasure in introducing her on yet another webinar with us. I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hearing from you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. I hope everybody can see me and actually look at the whole website as well. I mean the presentation. So because I have a few slides to take you through. So if everybody can see, then they can actually give confirmation. Okay. Thanks, Anusha. Like the topic says, our topic covers organizational culture, strategies to attract, and how to retain the employees. So these are basically very, very basic questions that any HR will ask. So, I believe that because of the whole discussion that started in the beginning, so Siddharth was asking that how many HRs are there? So almost 95% of the people raised their hands. So I think 95% of them are HR. Now, thankfully, they are HRs because I love talking to my similar kind of a designation. Because see, when we talk to an employee, uh, the any kind of when we talk to an employee, they have so many questions, round of questions, and they have so many doubts about everything. They start comparing with one company to another, when one person to another. But when we talk to an HR, and when first of all, I want to highlight that HR is a bit intelligent apart from other designated positions that in the organization has. So I'm happy that I'm talking to the intelligent lot right now. So when we are talking about the HR, so they think in a very different way. Now, how HRs has to think, or they think is that if we are working in one of the organization, any of the organization, name it anybody, so the culture is very different. We cannot compare the culture of one organization to another. It has to be different and it will be different. So we cannot say that okay, that culture is followed by that company, that famous company, so it is famous, or that is why it is very important, or that is why it is very successful. We cannot we cannot say that. Different companies have different culture. Now, what I will be talking about in this slides, or probably in the presentation, is that we need to take care of very small things in the organization, so that uh, the overall culture will be same for everybody. Okay. Now, when I say that, so there are basic things that has to be there, basic things, and you can touch point those basic things and cover it up in detail after discussing with the management how to get into detail. So I will touch point all the basic things, so that it is like it is like, oh, we didn't remember this, oh, we knew this, but we were not following this. Those kind of a points are there. So I hope I will cover everything, and I think I will cover, so that everybody gets to know what exactly are these basic things of the culture point of view. So we all have heard about the Great Indian Resignation. Okay, and the Great Indian Resignation, if we say, and if you actually see the percentage, more than 50% of the percentage of resignation is because of two things. One is toxic bosses, and the second is the toxic workplace. These are the two major things. And when we say toxic bosses and toxic workplace, it boils down to only one thing, which we say is as an organizational culture, or the culture was not good. Okay, so that is why it is very important. Now, when we talk about an organizational culture is basically nothing but what the management or what the company is looking at in terms of the mission, the goals, or what is the vision of the company that they are going to set up. They are going to, they will be having kinds of a rights and deserving culture in an organization, which is very important for any company. Okay. And when we talk about the growth and success of any of the company, so the growth and success is company doesn't, obviously it is employees. But what is the company that, what is the company that is giving back to the employees? And that is nothing but we, in HR terms, it is called as, that is mentioned over there, which is employee value proposition. It is nothing but a benefit or any kind of an opportunity that we are providing to any of the employee who are giving some kind of benefit to the company. Okay. Now, one of the benefit that we all give is the compensation, the salary part, or the incentive part, or whatever in terms of the factors are there. But the most important benefit that we can give in terms of an EVP is has to be that what kind of a balance that we can give, a work-life balance, or probably the culture, the opportunities for advancement, the knowledge that we can give, or probably what is the learning that the employee is getting. This is how the employees try to if they work as a team, and they plus they will not see, we have a culture in terms of, they talk a lot about negatives first rather than the positives. Maybe we have hundreds of positive things of the of the company, but the employees start talking the negatives first and the positives later. Maybe the positives are never mentioned. But if we actually think about their benefit in as a whole, and we talk about it more and more, then it can be, it can be more of, it cannot be like because the person is resigning only because of the toxic bosses or the workplace. It can be some other reasons that are mentioned below. Okay, it can be anything, right? Now, when we talk about the organizational culture as a whole, uh, what is basically the organization culture? It is nothing. It is basically the company's values, the sociology, the psychology, and its experiences. Okay. Now, when we define a vision and a mission policy of any of the company, any organization, what are we even thinking? The thought process has to be that if I want to achieve this kind of a vision or a goal, I need to follow some kind of a mission in the organization to achieve this. Now, how is this vision achieved through this mission? By entering into the psychology of every employee. Okay, by entering into the sociology perspective of every employee, and that can be only possible if we have a great culture. And that great culture, again, I'm saying it depends on the company. It doesn't depend on, oh, that Wipro is a very big company or a Reliance is a very big company, so they are following the great culture. No, not at all. Once you start feeling the kind of a psychology of an organization, that is the best culture. So that, can you just change the slide? Okay. Now, see, if you see this, the second point, when I'm talking about monkey see, monkey do. Okay. What is this term? This term is nothing but the leaders of the organization are the main people who not just verbally, say that this is the culture, but they also put into action. Because again, there are so many people in the team who are following you, who are seeing you. So that is why the term, it says monkey see, monkey do. So the most important criteria in any organization are the leaders, are the management people. So before we expect anything out of any employee, we as leaders or we as management people need to follow it or need to act it. Our action should say that this is our culture or this is what we are expecting from you as an employee to follow. Okay, then only we can have a company altogether, a positive culture. That acceptance comes in. So if it starts from the top, then it goes down. It doesn't go, comes from the, oh, this junior level has to do it, then only I'll follow. Or only junior level has to follow. I should not be followed because I'm at the top level. It is never like that. Okay. Now, again, due to the positive and employee favoring culture, obviously employees what will they say? Oh, I know how to I learned so many things. I'm attracted to the policies. I'm attracted to the work life balance. I'm attracted to my manager. I'm attracted to my company. Why will they leave? They will always say they are happy to stay. Now, there are few things, but at the same time, leaders should avoid also. One major thing the leader should avoid is, we have a major, a culture or a major vision in a company. But there are certain departments who are run by certain leaders. Like we have a sales and marketing, then we have accounts, and we have HRs, we have purchase, a commercial, any part of the operations part. Now we cannot say that the HR leader should not follow what the accounts person is saying, or the accounts leader should not follow what the operations are saying, or not the operations are saying what the marketing people are saying. No, not at all. It has to be standardized overall. If there are any kind of small cultures that exist in the organization, wherein every boss says, okay, I am the boss, I have certain rules, I have certain policies, now that my team has to follow like that. No, it should not be there. The team understands immediately. Immediately the team will understand, oh, this is the gap. And then comes, the problems like, oh, I am part of a team wherein my leader wants this. Oh, your team you are a part of that kind of a culture. Oh, you are a part of this kind of a culture. Then there is a barrier. That means the leader of the organization has no power. And immediately the employee thinks, Hamara kuch nahi ho sakta, in Hindi that we say. We cannot be a part of such kind of an organization where the leader is a downfall, where the leader is not looking, and where we have hundreds of leaders within. There is the toxic bosses that we talk about. This is one of the major reason. When we have small departmental culture, it becomes a very big problem. No matter what kind of a background that a leader is coming from, the moment you are part of the organization, you need to be part of the organizational culture or the organizational vision or the organization goals. Okay. Second major issue that we have is the glass ceiling attitude. Now, what is a glass ceiling attitude? The glass ceiling attitude say the leader is jealous of the junior. The leader is not helping or assisting. They are kind of preventing any kind of, promotion or anything that can be achieved best for the employee or for the team member. So it is nothing but an unfair policy or a practices that they do or have an attitude for the team member. Right? When we say that the boss is not allowing me to promote, when the boss is not allowing me to get appraisal, it is nothing but a grass seal attitude that they have. They don't want, first of all, they don't want their junior to get promoted or be in a bigger position. Secondly, they themselves are not in a bigger position. They don't want the team members to also follow. This should not be the attitude at all. Because, understand one thing, if the team member grows, obviously the leader grows, obviously the company will also grow. The attitude should be of a teamwork. It should not be only an individual, but of a teamwork. Right? Now, again, when I talk about this, how, this can be attracted or how we can attract certain employees through that. Now, there are certain points to attract and retain employees. I'll go one by one. Now, the major, point that I have to talk about here is while hiring. Okay. Now, while hiring and otherwise also, how and why culture has to be prioritized. Siddharth, slides, please.
Yeah.
Next slide. Okay, first and major. We have set up certain kind of an organization culture. Now, how to hire these people? Now, how to hire or attract good people? Okay. Now, when we define certain kind of an organization, okay, now we need to build ourselves, okay, psychologically, we want this kind of a culture and we are following this kind of a culture. So first and foremost, it has to be that the person whom I'm interviewing, the candidate, should depict some kind of a attitude, cultural attitude. And somehow the HR people or the person who is interviewing will know. I cannot say how, when, or how, how it can be possible, but we know it. That attitude is understood. Okay. So while hiring, the candidate should be culturally fit. Then comes the skills and the experiences. So when we see the CV, first prioritization has to be culturally fit, then the skills and the experience comes in. So when we are during the recruitment process, so keep in mind the company culture, and then write down the job description. It is very important. Very, 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 very important. While writing the job description, keep in mind the cultural fit. Now, somebody has written how one can understand about a culture. So I didn't say while seeing the CV. I didn't come to that point. Okay. There will be hundreds of people who will come for the interview. Now you need to judge while seeing and taking the interview. Before even coming to that point, it's our role when we are writing the job description, keep in mind the culture fit. Don't write some things just to fascinate the job description. Write those things that is actually you can provide. For example, some KRAs is just to fascinate, but actually the employee is not doing that. This is kind of a fascination. So you are honest to the job description as well. While making the first call to the recruitment call to the candidate, you need to be very, very transparent while communicating. Very transparent about the profile, very transparent about what kind of a candidate that we are looking at. And also it is very important to in return to encourage applicants and interviews to be honest as well. How this is possible? When we start talking in that conversation during that recruitment call itself, we have a conversation. We are not exactly having the interview. We are actually having a conversation. If we are honest from upfront we are honest that we need this, we are required this profile is this. The candidate himself will talk honestly, will provide all the information honestly. Try to follow it, you'll understand it. Okay. Then once the interview schedule has been fixed on telephone, okay, this is the time, this is it, this you need to come on this date and this is time, come for the interview. Okay. So it is very important to confirm via mail. When you send a mail to the candidate about the interview schedule, ask the candidate to acknowledge it. If they do not acknowledge, they show their culture. If we are asking for the acknowledgement, it is our culture. It shows professionalism, which is very important for a company. Okay. Now, once the interview schedule is confirmed and it is acknowledged, you need to also inform the interviewer, the managers or the leaders as well. Why this is very important? Because the interviewer is also busy in other tasks. So when we tell them, okay, 3 o'clock is the interview, he will also manage his time. Right? If he doesn't manage his time, then it gets delayed. Again, it is showing a culture barrier. Immediately, it's a unprofessional attitude. Right? Do make a call to the candidate one day before or as well, if we have time. If you schedule it like today and tomorrow is the interview, do not call, do not confirm again and again. But if we have like 3-4 days of time, after sending that mail immediately, before coming for the interview, a day before, give a call to the candidate and ask them to come 15 minutes before the scheduled time. Very important. Now, in this way, what is the attitude? The attitude that we are showing to the candidate is we are expecting you to come because you confirmed. Again, professionalism. And when you say a yes, okay, then it is like somewhere, if you are a very professional person, when the candidate says yes, obviously he has to come. There will be no, rejected kind of an attitude. If you're professional, if the person doesn't come, then very good. He was not culturally fit for us. He's not professional enough. Good that he didn't come. But it is very important, 15 minutes before, please come in so that he's well settled in the company before he goes through the interview process. It is very important. A candidate comes running and then in a hurry, you ask the interviewer to take the interview. He's not able to give his best and he's rejected. Not good for the candidate, not good for the company also. So come 15 minutes before so that he's well settled. So once, the culture of a company is not just depicted by the employee or the management, it is also depicted by the person who is standing at the gate, who is standing at the reception. From that level to this level, it has to be standardized. Once the candidate crosses the guard, the gate, the reception, to the coordinator, to the interviewer, it has to be same everywhere. So the coordinator, while sitting over there, asking the candidate to get settled and be, good, fine and everything, offer something, water, tea, coffee, a kind gesture. But don't offer unlimited drinks. Only 2-3 options. Now, whoever is coordinating for the interview, you need to sit with the candidate before the interview starts and, brief about the company and brief about the job profile again. Don't expect that the candidate has already read or has it, or we will be, he's coming for the interview, so he should know what exactly is the company is doing. Don't. Just give normal information, brief information. Give us some kind of a background about the profile as well. And give a small background or an introduction about the interviewer as well. It is very important again. The name plus its background, whom he's meeting and what kind of a background he's coming. Do not delay the interview process. Again, it is unprofessional. If it is 3:30, please start at 3:30. If it is getting delayed for any reason, please inform. Again, professionalism. Now, there are some interview process that, the candidate is sitting at the reception and the interviewer's cabin is somewhere at the end. So the candidate needs to follow, walk through the entire aisle and reach to the interviewer's cabin. Now, what happens? In a way, in those few seconds, he's actually seeing and observing the culture. What is the culture? Generally, एक बंदा वहां से चिल्ला रहा है, okay, and sometime or the other, the person is like screaming from there. What are they screaming? Okay, somebody is screaming as a marketing person. Somebody is screaming to give some kind of stationery or something. Some gossips are going on in one corner. Not at all. Please avoid that thing. Best part is, if you cannot handle all the employees, best part over here is that you have a separate cabin for the interview, where the interviewer walks into that cabin. Much better. The way interview, it is not just the candidate meeting the interviewer. The way interviewer is also meeting the candidate should be very professional. Right? So these are certain things that are very small things. Maybe you guys know also, but we need to be professional to understand. But these are very important things when you are attracting candidates. When you are actually You don't want to say that we have a very positive culture, we have a very nice culture, but through actions you are actually telling. Once the interview is over, it is very important to share an honest review. Whether selected, not selected, whether you are going to get back in 2 days, get back in 2 days. Be specific. Share a feedback for every decision. Even if the person is not selected, share the feedback. Why? In my experience, okay, over the whole of all my years, I have experienced this. I always give a feedback. Always. There has been no candidate. No, all candidates come to me and say, thank you so much. And please tell me how to improve. It is a very good gesture. And I give feedback to how to improve also. Just imagine if some candidate comes to you and asks you, how can I improve? It's a very good thing. You're just helping, you're giving a helping hand. Right? So these are the highlighted things that I'm telling you in terms of, while hiring and while, making some certain kind of interviews and everything. But it can be many more, but these are the small things that I want to highlight. Second and very important thing is the onboarding process. Once the candidate is hired and everything, the onboarding process has to be very powerful. Now, when the the process of onboarding is nothing but it is like the first impression is the last impression. It is that kind of a tone. So the employee every time the employee is actually talking or depicting any kind of a culture, it always talks about the first day. They will always remember about the first day. So it is very important to be very good or perfect. Okay, in some companies like bigger companies and all, they have onboarding process like towards for 6 months and 1 year as well. Now, how is it possible for 6 months and 1 year? It is very simple. They are actually examining or observing for 1 year at least to make sure that they are at the right company. So how to do a perfect or a good onboarding? First and foremost, it is a prepare a welcome. Very important. I will feel good if somebody is welcoming. If Siddharth just comes in and says, okay, Navina, just start off the presentation. How would you like it? Or how would I like it? I obviously there is some kind of a welcome. That's why I was able to you are able to listen to me and I am able to talk. So it is very important to prepare a small welcome. The entire, especially the person where the person is going to sit. Those people should know who the person is, their neighbor. It should go to every employee. And make sure that every person, shares a warm welcome. Especially the leaders of the organization should extend a warm welcome. Okay, thank you so much. Come, welcome. Normal. It's just a one-liner, but it is a very big boost of confidence. What exactly is written over there? It is like nothing but a welcome with one photograph so that the other people, other employees, they know that this is the newcomer. And introduce with a brief background. Okay. Then what can be the best gesture again? When we are talking or giving an information about the company, again, go in a very standardized and a structured way. First of all, talk about the company, then talk about the vision and mission of goal of the culture or anything that is attracted towards the company that talks positive about the company. Okay. Take through the website also. Very important. What does the website say? Right? When you take you through the, when you take through the website and everything, they have a good information, handy information. Then comes the documentation part. It has to be very honest and clean. Again, it shows professionalism. Right? We have a long type of documentation that we have pages and pages and pages. That's okay. But if you sit down and actually explain and give information that these are the things that are important, again, it shows professionalism. Very important. Again, explain all kinds of KRAs and the tasks and link it with the vision and mission of the company. The candidate or the employee will feel that, okay, I'm, equivalent my task or my whatever, the junior level person also. He's very important to the company because my task is assigned or aligned to the goals of the company. This can be optional when we are assigning a buddy or a mentor, because it has to be very, very, professional person. You cannot just assign a buddy or a mentor. And that buddy or a mentor should be an HR person or a person from the team itself, not from anybody else. But it is most likely, it is good that if there is an HR person. Okay. Take them through the company policies. Each and every point should be very much clear. It should never, these policies are not to be avoided and not even for them to guess, okay, this might be the policy. It has to be crystal clear and discussed. Also provide necessary resources wherein, if the candidate is allowed to sit somewhere in one of the desks or the seat. So the desk, the chair is proper. It is not half broken. It has to be, there should be no breakage. Provide them with right tools, with right stationaries like a stapler, diary, or anything like that. Whatever the company is providing, provide with them. And in the end, encourage for their feedbacks and questions. Because if they are not answered on first day of their questions, they will have all these questions in their mind and they'll start talking to everybody, whoever is available. Then they will have a mixed questions or the answers. Right? But in the end, also concentrate that stop giving any kind of an overboard information. Don't give extra information. Never. And also never assume that they have knowledge about the company, they have knowledge about the job description, they have knowledge about their task, they know about everything. So why should I explain it more? Don't do that. Give them, feed them with information. Okay. If the orientation is taking 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, it's okay. It's completely okay, but it has to be very professional. Okay. Third and very important point is that when we talk about employees are valued with recognition. Now, when employees are valued with recognition, again, if I talk about it, is not just that, compensation or the salary part is very attractive.
And Ms. Navina, I'm sorry to interrupt. So before you move to the next slide, which you are already on, I'd like to quickly launch a poll just to check if our audience is on point. So let me just launch this one poll. So audience, going back to the the organizational, the positive culture part. So in your opinion, what defines a possible positive company culture? So there are 4 options. Strong leadership and clear values? Is it inclusive and diverse environment? Or is it employee recognition, appreciation? Or do you think it's opportunities for collaboration and innovation? So let me leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. We have a couple more polls, but I'll bring that up as these slides go on. Audience, also to mention, if there are any queries during the slides, please put it on chat. If possible, I think we'll be able to attend to it then and there, or we will take it up post the slides. Okay. Employee recognition and appreciation is what I see at the high right now. Okay. It's strong leadership and clear values. So we have about 22 of them who responded. Can we have 10 more of them? Yeah, Ms. Vinny, I don't think we've given that, but I'm sure that yes, all of them can also be considered. But what I'm trying to understand here is what is it that weighs in more than the rest of it, which is what I'm trying to understand here. Okay, strong leadership, clear values, and then we have employer recognition and appreciation. All right, I think I'll end the poll here. And let me just share the results. Ms. Navina, would you like to add something on this?
I totally agree with strong leadership and clear values. That's what I started with the presentation. That the leaders are the company culture, the leaders are the values, the leaders are the people who are depicting everything. They are the people who if you want people to follow you, you need to clear out your values first. So the first point, like monkey see, monkey do, it is a clear indication to this kind of a value system.
Yeah, I agree, ma'am. Okay. Okay, let me stop sharing and we can go to the next slide. Audience, we have a few more polls, but I will bring that up as the slides go about. Yeah, over to you, ma'am.
Okay. So, as I said, after creating a very good impression of the company, now while the employee is working towards it, so what brings into their happy mood is the valuation and the recognition part. Now, when I talk about the valuation and recognition part, again, companies follow certain annual increment, or they follow some kind of outings and picnics or a Diwali party, so that they can have a good engagement programs and any kind of a certification that is there. So see, understand all these are very good, but it has to be a mixture of everything. It cannot be one thing, and it has to be a consistent recognition. Now, when I say consistent recognition, because the appreciation is required every time. If the appreciation is not there time and again, then there will be a major effect in their working task and working condition, and especially in their mind. Because if the mind gets affected, then everything gets affected. Okay, it has to be a package of everything. Now, while we say compensation and benefits, it is a very major role of the management, of the leaders of HRs, to actually do a compensation research in their industry and in their field always. To why it is always important to create a baseline of the salary package so that it is competitive. Very important. It has to be very competitive as compared to other companies as well in their industry. So you need to research on the compensation and salary package all the more. Every 3 months, every 6 months, regularly. Altogether, you can actually, dedicate a team or a person to do this and evaluate how your company structure, salary structure is. I have personally done that and it is very successful. Okay. Again, every pay, okay, when we talk about not just the sales and marketing, which is very clear, if you achieve those targets, you have certain kind of a pay, performance pay, incentives pay. But at the same time, if every department will have a performance linked pay, it will be very good. You can talk about operations and HR also. So if you have a performance linked pay structure, again, it is a kind of a recognition and appreciation. People will be willing to do more for the company because it is a learning part for the employee as well as it is a good thing for the company all the more. Right now, after COVID, I have seen a lot of companies that they are following the concept of what we call it as a promotion when the employee is ready, not an annual increment. I've seen a lot of companies, and whether it is small, big, average company, and that has been again I follow when I'm talking about my company. So Sahil, I'll answer this question for you. When I had said that we follow not the what do you call it as an annual thing. So what my company started doing was that we had certain projects, okay, and we had certain projects that was linked to every employee. And when they started doing, so we formulated a kind of a questionnaire or a feedback form, or that kind of an form receipt, wherein every employee, after the finishing of that project or probably any kind of a monthly review, they start writing what exactly was the success and what exactly was the idea they did. Okay. And that was reviewed by the manager, their manager. And then again, it was evaluated by the HR, how it was, successful to the company or to the any kind of a valuation that was there. And accordingly, the incentives was linked along with the discussion, along with the discussion with the management and the leader. Okay, so again, it was interlinked. So this was again a very powerful proposition that we did. And for us, it was known as the term that we use in in my company is out of turn promotion policy. Out of turn promotion policy, wherein we say that we don't have to wait for a year to say that, okay, I can do, a lot more than what I have to do. Okay, so this is a very successful thing wherein we have almost promoted a lot of junior executive people to a manager level within a year. And it was very successful because they were willing to learn and move ahead. And there are a lot of people in the organization. If the company just says that you have an annual increment kind of a thing, so obviously the task will also be slow. But again, okay, I'm not saying that it has to be followed, but it can be followed. There's no harm. Okay. Very important thing is that when we have a financial assistance for learning. Okay, when I say financial assistance for learning is like we have certain webinars plus seminars plus presentations wherein a lot of financial experts come to our company to tell you how to manage your salary, how to manage your income. Again, it is a very, very successful policy procedure that we have followed. We have so many people and in and around wherein they want to know how to manage the salary part. It is a very good policy that it has been successful. Next, how can we, again, it is a very important tool, very, very, very important tool for the leader. It is empower, encourage, and uplift. Just all the leaders should use this word and they should bring these words: empower, encourage, and uplift. It's not just about the tangible rewards, it is also about the social recognition. I'm not saying that the leader should stand up on the building of the company and shout out that my team member is very good with its work. No. But at the same time, if we have a small team appreciation or a team recognition also, the employee will be very happy. Very, very happy. And again, by appreciation doesn't mean that you are just, letting down the other employees and putting the person above. No. It has to be a team appreciation first. My team is good. My team has been good. They did this good. And highlight it wherever possible. If there is an employee which did, who is like good with any Excel or anything, good. Appreciate with good work. Again, within the team and in the company as well, celebrate the work anniversaries. It is very, very important. We feel that the work anniversaries is like another kind of an appreciation. Okay. But at the same time, when we say work anniversary, understand it is a bigger picture. Why it is a bigger picture? Because the person who completes 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, it shows the commitment towards the company. It shows that positivity towards the company culture. So you need to appreciate that more. Right? A leader should encourage a feedback culture. Take a lot of feedback. and give a lot of feedback. Two-way learning. In this way, we are encouraging them to learn, and we are getting assistance also. And always say thank you. In verbal and writing mails of any kind of a work, it has to be thank you. No matter how many times that you are writing, but write thank you. And say thank you always. Okay. Fourth point that again, along with encourage, uplift, and empower is the when we encourage the employee engagement programs. When I'm talking about employee encourage programs, it has to be on a regular basis. Why? Because it increases the productivity of any employee. Now, when I say productivity of any employee, because it is actually nothing but a potential upliftment of the company also to the goals of the organization. Now, how can we, arrange this? We can arrange this by introducing technology for a better HR processes. Again, here Siddharth can help you with this. We have n number of HR technologies that can, actually enhance employee experience by, making them reduce administrative burdens, improving some kind of access to information, and then enabling employees to focus on more meaningful aspects of work. There are so many things that has come up, like technologies, like, we have employee portals, and then we have chat GPT kind of talents that we are there, wherein the key work, the functional projects across understandings, and plus the automation part of it, any kind of administration part of it, everything can be handled. And then the major part of good employees can actually think about the strategy part or the planning part of it. Right. So when I talk about tools like feedbacks and employee queries and all, this is also very helpful. You get a lot of feedbacks and queries wherein you can put it into action, a good feedback or a good query. You have a hands-on reply to the all the employees. They don't have to run around to all the employees over there. What is the answer to this? What is the answer to this? They can directly come towards it. And when we have a prompt answer to it, it becomes even more beneficial. Then very important thing in amongst the employee engagement program is the wellness program. Now, when we say wellness programs, because along with your organizational value comes the good health. And when you have a good health, you increase the engagements. Okay. Now, what are the wellness programs? By providing, obviously, the medical insurance will be there. I'm sure that a lot of companies are giving medical insurance policy. Right. But along with these medical insurance policies, these medical companies only provide health classes and sessions. It is very important. Regularly give those classes. Ask these health experts to come and give classes. Second and most important, what is most important in our life? Health and wealth. So when health is taken care, wealth is important. Right? So when assistance to health, financial wellness is also important. Now, when I say financial assistance, I've already said that experts coming in to how to handle the salary. Expert can also come in and talk about how and guide about the investments, and plus the long-term equity programs. How to create wealth. In this way, they will never think about a moonlighting, quiet quitting, or terms like dual employments, nothing like that. They can equally have that kind of an expert assistance. Right? Along with health and wealth comes spiritual wellness. These days, if you see that we have a good knowledge and understanding of spirituality as well. And what spirituality always says is, if you are actually very straightforward and you actually know yourself in terms of belief, you almost increase your confidence. So a company can actually concentrate by calling these spiritual experts as well. So there are three things in the wellness programs: health, wealth, and the spiritual part of it. Concentrate on these things. It cannot be only health, it cannot be only wealth, it cannot be only spirituality. If only one thing is following, it is only Gyan. If three of these things are working together, then it becomes an action. Right? Then comes the fun activities and celebrations along with all these things. Whether it is a team lunch, whether it is the festival celebration, or any kind of fun engagements that are there, we can follow with that. Again, for the branding plus the culture part of it, a company should follow the CSR and social activities as well. Okay. So this has to be followed. Now, fifth, I would talk about is the, belongingness. Now, if you
Ms.
look,
Navina?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Just one more poll. I'll take a minute, and that can be a break time. Let me just put this link on the chat, audience. Audience, I hope you're able to see this link on your chat. This is a LinkedIn poll that is running live right now. So I'd request all of you to take a minute to just click on the link, and this will redirect you to our LinkedIn page. We have a live poll running right there. Let me just read it for the rest of them anyway. What strategies do you believe are most effective in fostering a positive company culture? So the four options are team building activities. There is also transparent and open communication. There is employee wellness programs, as Ms. Navina just spoke about. And then we have leadership development. So request all of you to take a minute to quickly enter your poll and then come back to Zoom, and we will continue with the session. Audience, you can also follow us if you'd like for regular HR and other domain related updates that we post. Okay, so let me move to the next slide. I think audience, once you're done with that, you can come back here. Yeah, moving to the next slide now.
Right. So when we consider about the wellness plus the recognition part of it, now again, it is a very important tool that when the leaders find it, sense that, there is a kind of belongingness and inclusion for the employee as well. Now, what is the belonging and inclusion? It is nothing but that when you build the humanness and courage part in the team. Now, how, what is exactly? So you can actually identify it. How you can identify is through these four columns. Now, first and foremost is when you talk about the first point, which is like high courage and plus low humanness. When you talk about these people, they are the people who are very, very agitators, confidence, competent, plus they, talk very loudly also. They are very up to the mark in terms of goals and vision oriented, everything, and they talk very straight. But at the same time, when they talk very straight, they lack a lot of human connection with anybody. They will not consider anybody else, even in the team or anybody else. So they are the people who have a high courage, but their lack of low, there is humanness is less. Then the second point comes in the low courage and low humanness. What is this? They had a lot of, they are the most avoidable person, toxic people in the company, whether they are leaders or whether they are the junior people. They will gossip, they will have a kind of a self-protection criteria wherein they will always say that, protect themselves and blame others for everything, the team especially. They are the toxic people. And they always ask, they will also always say that the other person is always wrong in terms of everything, whether it is right or wrong. So that kind of a toxic environment will be there. Then comes the third point, which is low courage and high humanness, wherein they are, even if we have a high humanness person also and less care, they will always be a person who will be after you in terms of pleasing you for everything. Okay. And but at the same time, they will not be a person who will come upfront and take action also. They will be always behind. They will not take decisions. They will ask for approvals. They will put on others. All these things are there. So it is like somewhere, they lack a lot of confidence as well. Okay. And most important and high good human and courageous people are those people who have high courage and high humanness. They are the people who will have a balance of everything. They put their feet forward as well, and they have a kind of a understanding mindness for others as well. They build a relationship in terms of trust. So find out that kind of, so this can be find out in any of the groups. And when you find out these, any, when you are an observant, you actually observe such certain things. When you hear a lot of complaints, you actually need to understand these complaints fall into which category. Accordingly, you can take action. Accordingly, you can, mentor certain people, because understand, there are toxic people who can be, we cannot do anything, but there are people who are not toxic, but they behave toxic, but they can be improved. So you need to find out and improve those people in terms of culture building. Okay. This is in terms of the leadership, because leaders need to be highly important. Now, what exactly the leaders have to do in terms of this chart? So they need to they are categorized into certain points. When I say develop your people, develop your team instead of developing yourself. When you just develop yourself and not the team, it is no development. You will be an individual person. An individual person doesn't grow in a company. Okay. Care consistently. There has to be humanness again. Be a source of inspiration. Learn your knowledge, increase your knowledge, and give out the knowledge. Listen actively. Because if there is no listening part, even our Prime Minister Modi is good only because he listens. So that kind of a leadership is there. In every organization, if a leader has the listening capacity, please go and follow that. Listening capacity has to be there. Be present in the moment. Don't go in the past. Oh, उस जमाने में ऐसा होता था, this जमाने में ऐसा था, या future में ऐसा होता था. Nothing like that. Be present in the moment. What is there in the moment? Encourage the courage part of it in terms of any in the all variations of the departments. Practice and promote authenticity. Be passionate with the team. Walk the talk. Whatever you are talking, please first of all create that kind of an environment. Lead with emotional intelligence. If there is no balance, then there is nothing. Competence is nothing then. Right? Again, when I'm talking about the sixth and the last through part of it, the leader's actions, when I'm talking about the leader's actions part, a leader, he's not just inspiring and motivating, but he's actually guiding every person in the company towards success. And when I am saying that he is following through the success and exercising, it is only because that the power can make a big difference with the team performance, with the team leadership as well. And when we are actually following the value system and the culture part of it, so what is exactly a leader? The leader doesn't need to be a boss. He should not be a boss. There has to be difference. If an employee is calling any of their leader a boss, ask them not to call. You know why? Because there are variations to it. A boss focuses always on results, while a leader focuses on people. If you build people, results will come automatically. A boss controls and micromanages for every basic detail, but a leader always trusts their employee and empowers the employee. A boss demands respect. When I'm entering into the room, stand up. Right? While a leader earns it. The moment a person comes in, the leader comes in, automatically everybody shows respect. A boss criticizes mistakes. For 10 days, the leader is always criticizing the same mistake. While a leader uses the opportunity for growth, make the person understand, make the person learn, give them some knowledge. A boss takes credit for success. Very wrong thing. While a leader shares it with the team. Right? So when I'm talking about an organizational culture and creating a positive environment, it is nothing but creating a, value system or the culture part of it wherein every employee is motivated. When you have a motivation, empowering, encouragement, all these things in the company, automatically all the employees work as a team and they consider themselves as a family. And when they consider themselves as from a team to a family, when they consider themselves in the family, they help each other, they work with each other. So if a company is actually moving ahead in their life or in their career, it is only because of a better opportunity and not because of any, points that were mentioned in the Great Resignation. Right? So I hope you understood what was the basic things that I, wanted to follow it through in this presentation. Because see, I just explained you basic things because it all starts from here. And when it starts from here, you start building strategies and policies based on the basic things. And it becomes a very, very casual or probably a professional approach towards it. Right? I'm done, Siddharth. You can continue.
Yeah. So I think we can actually get into the QA session. I believe there are a few of them, ma'am. We can look at that, and if there's anyone who would like to directly interact with you by unmuting, we can do that as well. I know we're kind of running out on time, so we can spend about 10 minutes if that's fine. And then based on the queries, we can call it a day. Yeah. So audience, we will take up the queries right now. But before we do that, I will launch one last poll for the audience, followed by which we can look at the queries. So what do you consider the most important factor for retaining top talent in a company culture? Is it competitive salary and benefits, work-life balance? I already see one of them straight away and inputted that. Opportunities for growth and development, and then finally positive workplace culture. I'll leave this on for a while, and I'll also look at the queries. There's one from Ms. Akanksha. Nowadays, at junior level or mid-junior level, employees are not completing even for 2 years duration. How does company culture play an important role here?
The entire presentation was this.
Yeah. Okay, so that is one. I think this is already attended to. Mr. Sahil, what frequency would you define for the compensation review? I believe that was attended as well. Yeah. And let me go a little ahead. Mr. IRD, honesty and transparency to be exhibited and experienced by both company and candidates during process. Yes, that was also answered. And audience, we can take up some queries if there's any. And I would also like to mention that if you'd like to directly unmute and interact with Ms. Navina, I'll be able to enable that. Just let me know if you'd like that. I'll be able to straight away give you that option. Okay, there's one from Mr. Ravi Kumar. Millennials are working only few months, even it happens in reputed companies. How company culture can overcome this attitude of new employees?
I didn't get to where is the question?
This is on QA tab, ma'am. Mr.
Okay.
Ravi. Yeah, the very last one.
Okay, millennials are working only few months, even it happens in reputed companies. How company culture can overcome this attitude of new employees? By improving the leaders. See, when I'm talking about millennials, so they have another attitude. Okay. And when I'm talking about the seniors, they have another attitude. So there are two different attitudes that are working. But what is the common link is the culture and the values part of it. So you, as a leader or as a company management team or the HR team, you need to be a mediator between both. So you need to understand now the company culture has to change for the new gen as well. It has to be accustomed to that. So now what the companies have to see is the culture that is coming from outside. So it has to be very much, professional along with casual part of it. So all these things, the basic things and that I'm talking about, you have to implement those basic things as well. But along with what exactly is the leaders that the strategies that you want to follow in the company. But these are the basic things that will follow as a value system.
So Ravi, I hope that answers your question. Okay, there's one input from Mr. Ayarity again. Mutual respect and confidence in company and employees are decreasing nowadays. Okay.
Mutual respect and confidence between company and employees are decreasing nowadays. Again, it is a part of culture only. So if the mutual respect and confidence part is there, then you need to check again. The normal tendency or value system is in place or not before even checking that whether your culture is in place.
Okay. Again, I'll repeat. Is there anyone who would like to directly interact with Ms. Navina by unmuting? Just give me a yes on chat, or you can use the raise your hand feature. I'll be able to unmute and get you to talk to Ms. Navina. I think we will wrap it up in about 5 minutes, but just letting you know that if there's anyone interested. Okay. Also, thank you, Ms. Anusha, Ms. Akanksha, Mr. Srinivas, Srini, and yeah, Amardeep and Ms. Vishaka. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think there are not many questions, Ms. Navina, so we can call it a day. Once again, thank you so
Yeah.
much for your efforts and time on the presentation. I'm sure the audience found it fruitful, and I'm sure they will be able to take some things from today's presentation. Audience, thank you so much for your time. And we will be sharing this presentation in our post-webinar mailer with the webinar recording itself. And those of you who showed interest in our demo, as I mentioned, we will reach out to you in the next 2 working days. So on that note, thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for your time, Ms. Navina. And
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, hope to see you on the next webinar. And on that note, thank you so much, audience. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.